Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here at our, I guess it's our second Facebook Live chat talking about PBL. My name's Ginger Lumen. I'm an international keynoter, consultant, author, and teacher. The last 10 years of my career have been devoted primarily to either running my own PBL school or teaching teachers how to transform their classrooms and school communities. I want to get that out of the way because I figure I've got to let people know. Anyway, this is a live conversation, but you may be joining later, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes, 10 hours later, 10 days later. Totally welcome to do that. Let me get a quick sip here. I'm going to shoot really hard again to try to keep this at 20 minutes, but let's just keep our fingers crossed. It might go 30. I just get excited. Sorry. Saying hello to Scott and Jennifer and Rachel. Love you all. So glad you're here. Thanks for the love. Let me dive into this here. So here we go. If you haven't done yet, as you're coming in, go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat right below here, and where you are, what levels and topics do you teach your learners, if you want. If you don't want, lurking's okay too. But you're going to find out that building strong learning communities, what PBL is really all about. And connecting here is a great way to do that. So we're doing the chat tonight, and actually all semester long, to help folks work through some of the bigger issues that pop up in a PBL classroom. And tonight's topic is all about building awesome PBL units. Woo! So I know I said that last week where we were talking about grouping was a really tough topic, but this one is too. So if you would, oh gosh, Scott, I'll try to keep a nice clip for you so you can jog well. Yeah. Anyway, share this out if you want to. If you haven't yet, make sure you like the Life Practice PBL Facebook page too, so you can keep up with the next scheduled chat, which, by the way, is tomorrow at 8 p.m. back to back. Don't ask about my scheduling skills. So anyway, hi Michelle, good to have you in, and Rachel, love her. Janine's come in, yes. So anyway. We'll be sharing 4 big recommendations. By we, I mean me and me sitting here. Anyway, I'll be sharing 4 big recommendations for truly tasty challenges and questions for the PBL beginner, as well as things to consider when you've been doing PBL for quite a while with your kids. And as you know, a lot of the trick to engagement is in finding that balance between tasty fun and nutritious learning. So we're going to be talking about building units that are both fun and still strong in the content learning. I want to hear from you guys during this. So what do you do to keep your kiddos working and digging deep into the content without feeling like it's just something they have to do because they're in school? Feel free to drop your own thoughts, your questions, your ideas in here too. I know that I'm not the only practicing PBLer here in this room, so let's team together. Saying hello to Ginny and April, so glad you're here. This is apparently my new... Sorry. It's weird right here, so close. Sorry about that. I'll get better at this. One thing I haven't said yet. Everybody who participates in the chat section gets their name put into the giveaway for my new book. It's called the Lessons for Life Practice Learning. And of course, I forgot to bring a book home with me. Yay. So here, I've got a picture of it. Ta-da! And look, is it right now? Is it right this time? Because I printed everything backwards. So to me, I can't even read this. But hopefully you guys can read it forwards, I hope. So, hey Mindy, good to see you. All right. People all across the country coming in. Jenny, that's great. So glad to see you guys. Okay, so if you participate, you get put in the giveaway for the new book called Lessons for Life Practice Learning. And everybody who shares this video on their page all the way up to August 31st, you can go ahead and get your name entered again. So back to the question. How do we build PBL lessons that spark genius learning? I have 4 recommendations for us we're going to talk about today, but a couple of things to consider first. I know I just used the word genius in the description here, and I know that word is tossed around quite a bit lately. First, let's be aware that there actually is a specific definition for the word genius. And while there is a small segment of the population that actually are geniuses, not everybody is a genius. I'm going to say that out loud. Everybody does have strengths and talents, so let's go ahead and recognize that that's what I am talking about here. I want us as educators to build such amazing, tasty lessons that kids can't wait to dive into the learning and dig as deep as they can with minimal prompting on our part. So I want to drop that in there. Kristen, hello. And Mickey, good to see you guys coming in. Love you. Thanks for being here. The second thing I want us to think about is specifically for the PBL gurus that might be listening in. First, welcome. I'm honored that you'd spend any time here with me. Okay, here we go. I know that I catch some gruff in the world of PBL gurus because sometimes the units that I talk about and share with teachers smell a little bit like school. Like maybe a unit called Pompeian Circumstance, right? Or which is which, right? I know they smell like English or history class, and some of the gurus in the world turn up their nose, saying that PBL must be real world and authentic, or it's not PBL. And I don't totally disagree. I mean, I do want us to be practicing real world skills in our PBL, and I want them making a lot of authentic personal choices with the direction of the learning. But the reality is that I also have content standards I have to meet, and I'm guessing you do too. So as a beginner PBL teacher, it's kind of hard to see, say, my history standards in a save the world type of PBL that doesn't in some small part smell like school. So sometimes new to PBL teachers either put PBL to the side altogether and don't do it, or they end up just having fun PBL that's done at the end of the year after all the important learning is over. And the kids and the parents and the administration and the colleagues, everybody gets the idea that PBL isn't for important work. I see this over and over as I crisscross this country and the globe with teachers who are just getting into PBL. And to make matters worse, with the educational pendulum that we always see, PBL is starting to catch some grief for being too much fluff. And I'm so tired of the pushback I'm already hearing from parents and administrators and the data-focused bean counters talking about how PBL is nice, but it's too much fluff. The data shows kids aren't really learning. Listen, I think it's due in some part to the guru push that says PBL can't smell like school, and I think that's wrong. So, can we do both fun and standards together? Yes. Yes, I think it's important to do that. But I say it first, it's okay for your PBL to smell a bit like school until you get a better handle on it and realize they don't always have to. So let's just move forward with those building the lessons that are both nutritious with content standards and fun with just fun challenges. Yeah? So here are our, well, and I'm going to pause. I'm going to jump right in here. Jennifer, you can't always make it real world. Here's the thing. I think that we can always make it real world, even if the challenge doesn't feel like that. I think the fact that we're having them work in teams, having them communicate, having them have to deal with real world issues, I think that's real world, even if the original challenge doesn't. So no apologies. Do the right thing. Yeah. Anyway, so here are the 4 recommendations we want to consider when we're planning our PBL units. So 1. Oh, wait, I've got slides. Remember I worked, right? Oh, I made one out, but apparently I didn't use it. So, you enjoy my singing? number 1 here. Are we building a tasty hook that leads to a complex question or challenge? Or are we just asking them to marry us on the first date or go out to run a marathon, so to speak, without so much as a warm-up? See, I think we want to help kids refocus from that cool hallway drama that's going on with Jordan and James out there and to think about, wait, what? What? We're going to do what? Yeah, that's cool. That's not boring stuff. I thought school was supposed to be. Is this teacher crazy? Are we really going to be doing that? Because that doesn't sound like worksheets to me. I mean, what's she asking? I don't know, but I gotta find out, right? So what are those tasty things? I want them to be their chest ending. I don't even know what that is. Is that a microphone with singing? I love it. Okay, anyway. So For instance, if I want my kids to be studying animal cells, I'm going to start by talking about like zombies or the next pandemic. Nowhere am I ever going to mention animal cells or use that type of vocabulary at first. I'll expect them to be using that vocabulary during the learning, but in the process of launching that PBL unit, I'm going to try to think about what hooks them, my kids in front of me, into that challenge or the question. So, like, for instance, here we go, I've got some here. What's the next pandemic, and how are we going to stop it, right? If I want them to learn animal cells, we're going to go into that. Let's see, what happens when our community runs out of potable water? I guess I don't have a slide on that one right here. That's all right. How are we going to save the citizens of Pompeii? How are we going to save the citizens, right? Pompeii and circumstance. See, remember, we're teachers, we're nerds. Face it, we love our content. Our kids don't yet. So let's bait the hook, let's salt the hay, let's ring the ice cream truck bell. I don't care what you call it. We have to find a way to get them coming to us, not us chasing them around trying to get them to learn. And I want them to say, what? I don't know, but that's going to be cool. So if we can hook them, we can cook them, which means to say that if we can take them way deeper into their learning, because they're already starting to dig for the other info. Gotcha. Right? So let's go to number 2. The number 2 recommendation. Is this right? I can't even read these. These are backwards for me. Oh, I've already done that one. So is the... Yeah, this one. Woohoo! Next time I'll number them. I'm learning, y'all. So is the unit just for fun? Or are the kids actually learning something related to school and life? I say school and life because we can learn a lot of great life lessons with PBL. And actually, Mindy, you mentioned that, right? We can learn a lot of great life lessons with PBL and learn zero about the things we have to teach. We can do that. And if you live in a world where you don't have standards in the content you're required to teach, I say good on you, right? But that's not the reality for most teachers in schools. Maybe it should be. Maybe it shouldn't be. We can get in that philosophical conversation later, right? On which route's better. But I say that the reality is the reality. And I want to help teachers and kids build the keys that start their own engagement engines. So we start with how much time do I usually take to hit this topic? How might I add a couple of days? Or I might want to. If I normally would hit it in like 2 days or 3 days, I might add a couple of more days to ensure, or a couple more hours to ensure deep learning and give time for content integration with other content areas if I can. But regardless, the point is I start with how much time do I need to take? And then I go right to the standards. What hard content do I need them to learn? And what skills do I need them to have to practice and get better at? So those are the 3 pieces right away: time, standards, and skills. And above all, going back to that very first tip, how can I be sure that my kids are going to love this, that it hits their interests, that it's tasty to them? I have to know what they're interested in, right? And if they're not interested, they're not going to go deep. And if they are interested, you're going to be getting complaint calls from parents about the kids not going to sleep because they're still working on their problem. Yes, win every day of the week. So with the first 2 tips, we have fun and nutrition. So what else? Let's think about that kid. You know, that kid who has 2 weeks to work and starts working the night before it's due? Yeah, who has that kid? Yeah, who was that kid? Yeah, that's me. So the third, have I done this one? Make sure I've got the right one here. Yes. Are you creating and sustaining a sense of meaningful urgency? That right there, I'm going to call that a mouthful. Let's break it down. Creating meaningful urgency, not just, it's due in 3 days, your grade drops. It's not meaningful to those kids. We got to find a way to help them see that it matters, even if it's pretend. I know that sounds counterintuitive, that it matters, but it's okay to pretend. Let me give an example. There's an asteroid going to come and hit the Earth, right? Which is kind of pretend if we tell them that's within the next 6 months, because maybe that's not for sure accurate, but it's not really pretend because there will be one that comes and hits the Earth. maybe in our lifetime, maybe not. And so we've got to make a plan to save lives, right? So I'm kind of pretending, but it matters. So what I do with the kids, I give them that, they get that challenge, and holy moly, we got to get this done or we're going to die. Make sure you put some personality plus in that, and your kids are going to go along with your pretend. If you just walk up and say, in the next 6 months, blah, 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 and you just deliver it like it's a lesson from a teacher at school where you're sitting at a hard desk, that's how they're going to respond to it. Put a little personality plus in it, y'all. Remember, the kids were hooking, and consider what types of things hook them outside of school. We're going to have some flash, panache, and definitely interactivity. Because, besides, it's fun for us too, right? I'm going to pause here. What's driving questions? Justin, yeah, that's the driving questions is where that makes them, oh, what? Where we got to make sure that's something tasty in there. By the way, a guy named Andrew Miller from the Buck Institute has written 2 blog posts about driving questions. The first one's good. The second blog post of his is better. If you Google Andrew Miller driving questions, you're going to run into those. If you don't run into those, just message me on this page and I'll send you the links because I've held on to them. It's really good stuff. And Rachel says, emails after school from kids and parents because they know they aren't going to be in class the next day but want their ideas shared. Rachel, you're winning, right? If you've got people saying, hey, I've got a great idea but I'm not going to be there, win. Good job. Good job. So if we're thinking about the kids and what hooks them, that's really important. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second and talk to those of you in the audience who might be thinking I'm just pandering to kids and how are they ever going to sustain in college when that panache isn't there? You know, not everybody's going to be la-da-da. And I got to tell you truthfully, you don't have to stay with the ta-da forever. But I'm going to say that when our kids have spent how many years thinking school is predictable and boring, we're going to have to do something radically different for a while until they can get a hard restart and learn that learning at school can be fun. So I recommend doing this flash and panache for a while, sometimes even years with them. You don't have to be a clown, but you don't have to be a teacher either. Wait, I've got a slide. Got a slide. You don't have to be a teacher either. Right? I mean, we can have a little panache. By the way, I totally think that lady looks like she could have panache. Look at that outfit. I just got to do this again. Anyway, okay, so thank you, Mindy. I'm glad that you're talking about that with your staff. Good stuff. Thanks, Marie. So, moving forward, the last bit here in that part, remember I said that it was creating and sustaining a sense of meaningful urgency. The last bit there is sustaining a meaningful sense of urgency. I love to have multiple midpoint check-ins where we look at where we are in the project, where we still need to go, how much time we have, and oh my gosh, we've got to get going because they're relying on us. Not said in a threatening manner, you know, not a, you gotta get this done. It's more of a, oh my gosh, a scary regular reminder that time's passing and this works when the kids are working on things that matter to them. Back to meaningful and fun. And then lastly, 4, yep, give them a high stakes ending. You want them to dig deep, not give you halfway effort. Of course, 1, hook them. 2, make it matter. 3, keep that sense of urgency. And lastly, give them a bit of that high stakes ending. Presenting to our own class is kind of anticlimactic. So why do I care what my classmates think? I don't give a crap about their work. Why do they care about mine? Let's just get it done and give me my grades so I can go back to sleep. Sound fun? Maybe you guys have better kids than I have, but I'm used to middle school and high school with this, you know, and sometimes we see this with 5th graders too, right? And younger. But I can't have that. So I invite in others, or I have the kids invite others in. The principal, another classroom down the hall, across town, across the state, across the country, from another country. How about from people from the community or parents? How about if we invite in an expert that we've consulted during the progress? This is that high stakes ending, the final, this is what we've done, right? I keep saying to the kids, don't embarrass the family, y'all. We got to do a good job because so-and-so's coming in. Don't embarrass us. We're going to be presenting to this other classroom. They're going to be amazing, and we got to keep our game up. So if I'm doing these types of projects, like, for instance, Reversion the Invasion, right? You know, those landing crafts that happened in Normandy, which were responsible for thousands of our guys, hundreds maybe, I'm giving the wrong data, dying before they even got on the beach. That might matter, right? Maybe I can get engineers in, save the Titanic. You know, there's some sort of amazing Titanic people who are just like, oh my gosh, I love this stuff, and they know it inside and out, right? So maybe we could get one of those people in, an historian, a person who's just a buff, right? Move it off the grid. How could we get our kid? Who would we get in with that one? Maybe we're consulting with solar people, experts in electricity or sewage, or I don't know. Who are you going to be consulting with? Because my guess is most classroom teachers are not these experts, right? So who are we consulting with, and how can we get them in? What's another one here? Get up, stand up. So why not talk to people who are in that particular group beyond just who you know already, and ask how that's going to be impactful. So anyway, I want to bring in these experts because they can give us real feedback that's beyond just the one teacher who hates me anyway, or who, whatever the kids think. It puts a little level of stakes that matters a little bit more. Right. There's always more to talk about with PBL, and there's always more to think about, which is why I wrote my PBL book, right? But I think tonight this is probably enough. I'm looking to see if there are more questions in there. I love the thoughts that you guys are posting in there. Got some teachers are in there writing stuff down for thoughts. Jennifer, so many experts are willing to Skype or Google Hangout, and sometimes they don't know. So what a great opportunity. We get to teach them and watch them change their lives too. As we come to the end, y'all, I want to say, if you found anything valuable here tonight, please share the video out. Anybody can watch it later. You didn't have to be here live. And remember, everybody who comments in the live chat section, put some good stuff in there. Not just a comment with hi, but, like participation or a question, whatever. You get your name put into a giveaway for the new book. And everyone who shares the video on their page all the way up to August 31st, even if you're coming in several days later, you can still share it. You're going to get your name entered again. And we're going to be giving away 4 books, which is, of course, the Lessons for Life Practice Learning. This is not the size of the book. I forgot to bring the book home, sorry. So if you haven't yet, be sure to like the Facebook PBL, the Life Practice PBL Facebook page, and so you can be notified of our next live chat, which is tomorrow. And all the tips and everything here is in the Lessons for Life Practice Learning. Go to lifepracticepbl.org, find the link that says the book. And by the way, the book is literally so new, it still has that fresh baby scent on it. And I just want to say, y'all, thanks for being with us tonight. I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your support with my second Facebook live chat. Mwah. Hope to see y'all again next week. So I'll keep an eye on comments here, and I'll try to keep responding. Appreciate it, guys. See you later.